going right here. I'm Terri Britt, and this is Women Leaders of Love Own Your Worth Wednesdays. We're getting set up between Facebook and Zoom. We have a hot topic today, a really hot topic. So I'm going to tell you about it in just a second. Let me get this going, and we will. So hello, everyone. I'm Terri Britt. I'm going to let some people in the Zoom room. For those of you who want to join us on Zoom and you don't have the link, you can go to terribritt.com/leaders and get my Worthiness Quotient Breakthrough Bundle. It's totally free. And then you will get the link for next week to join us. This week, we have a hot topic. We're talking about why women compete with each other. Have you ever thought about that? I mean, okay, let's be honest, right? How many of us compete? How many of us find ourselves comparing ourselves to other women? Maybe you have a group of friends and you all support each other and your mindset is, oh, I don't compete. But how many times have you ever gotten with that group of friends and then made fun of someone or did some digs, just some catty kind of remarks? I have. Who's honest here? Who wants to raise their hand? Yeah. You can stick it up in the air right now. So we're going to talk about this today because when we talk about owning your worth, when we haven't owned our worth, this is why we compete. Okay, this is why we struggle. And you have to ask, why do we do this, right? Why do we do this? Well, it was so interesting. This weekend, my daughter was visiting with her 2-year-old baby or toddler. And so my husband, we were at a winery. We were checking out a winery locally. We're in wine country in North Georgia. So this new winery we hadn't checked out. We like to refer people. So we went over there and he's sitting there talking to the owners who he knows. And my granddaughter walks up to him and says, "Hey, Bop Bop." And he just says, "Hi," and turns away from her. Well, there she is. And she just kind of looks and she walks away. Well, I got triggered. Okay. So that was my subconscious mind getting triggered and reactionary. I didn't understand what was happening. So I had to do some deep work on this. I had to go within and say, what is bothering me so much? And what I was recognizing is that how much of my worth growing up that I put in to my dad, to my uncles, to boys, to men defining my worth. Now think about that. Watching this little kid recognize that this is what so many of us do. And I know I've talked to my mom about this in the past about competition with other females. And I asked her one time, I said, "Did you feel competitive with me?" And she goes, "Oh, absolutely." She said, "You started getting attached to your dad." And I felt competitive because she was in lack. So there was this tug of war. She loved me, but then she resented me at the same time. How many of us have done that? So as I'm looking at this and I'm going deeper in the understanding of it, another vision I had years ago when I first started on my spiritual journey was my dad having a newspaper up so that I can't see his face. All I can see is the newspaper, waiting for him to put it down and to give me attention. Again, that was where I got my worth, when my dad gave me attention. So I started looking at this, and over the years, and that's why it kind of shocked me this weekend with my grandbaby, right? It was like, wow, I got so triggered because all I could think about is she going to lose her worth because her granddad or her bop bop is not giving her the attention she's seeking right now? Well, that just blew my mind that I was getting triggered like that. And so what I know is that each of us has something that is within us, that whether you had a relationship with your dad or whatever, that we in our society compete. We compete to get men's attention. And so what this does when we compete is that we could perform that much more, whether it's how we look, what our bodies are like, whether we're trying to be the best in school, whether we're trying to be the most successful. A lot of times it has to do because we've made men the authority of our lives. Okay, we've made men the authority of our lives, and we're either trying to stay up with them and compete with them, or we're trying to win their approval. I mean, how many times have you heard women in corporate America say, oh, it's the old boys club, the good old boys club. And it's that sense of competing, but you're really competing to get their attention. So I want you to think about your life today and just kind of take a moment and say, wow, am I competing? Because what happens is that when we're competing for attention, then we see other women as our competitors. Sometimes it's men, but I'm really focusing today on women, and we see these women as competitors. What we really want to do is see our sisters as sisters. Okay. We want to see them as we're connected. We are an expression of the divine feminine. We are expressions of love. And to be in that state of celebrating our uniqueness, to celebrate each other. I remember when in my younger days, and even before as I just started getting on my spiritual journey, I had friends there was that competitive energy. I set an intention that I wanted to be around women who were empowered, who would lift each other up and support one another, because that's where I wanted to go. And that's where I was trying to get to in my being. But the people around me were not being that. They were not, they were still being in that competitive, negative energy. So I started seeing a lot of my friends fall away. And it was okay, because eventually women came into my life who were very, very empowered and who would celebrate our wins with each other. But so many of us are not that. And here's what's sad about it. When we're in lack and we're competing against each other, our children watch us, our friends watch us, our partners watch us. And so we start perpetuating again that sense of lack. So when you ask yourself, why do I compete? What's going on inside of me? It's because you haven't owned your worth. You haven't owned your crown. You haven't claimed your crown, right? You haven't said, yes, I am divine, I am unique, and I am worthy simply for being me. So we compete. Now, here's the beauty. Here's the beauty of the competition. Okay. Here's the beauty of it. Last week, we talked about seeing everything as a gift, everything to go within. When you look at what's going on around you and you find yourself comparing or competing with someone, because really a lot of times we think, well, I'm not competing. But if we find ourselves judging someone or tearing them down, that's competition. Okay. We're doing that negative energy of wanting to pull them down so we'll feel better about ourselves, right? So here's the cool thing. When you find yourself doing that, that's an opportunity to go within and see what it is that you need. For instance, if you see that some female is getting attention and you find yourself bashing her, you may not even know why you're bashing. You just feel like you want to tear her down, maybe the way she looks. But if you really get checked in with yourself and you say, okay, what is lacking inside of me? What does she have that I want or that I'm craving? So maybe you finally get to the answer and you say, attention. She's getting attention. Oh, so do I have a belief that says I can't have attention? Now think about that. So this competition can actually be an opportunity to go within and heal, to go within and really own our worth, to really say yes to who we are. But we have to be willing to look at it. We have to be willing to say, ooh, I get this. I get that there's something going on here. I'll never forget one time, this was years ago, again, when I just started on my spiritual journey. I was talking to my girlfriend, Patty Campson, which some of you I know follow Patty. She's a wonderful astrologer. And I was talking about my other friend, Renee, and Renee seemed like she had all this love coming in her life. I mean, there was so much support. And I said to Patty something about that. She said, well, Terri, she said, your rising is Taurus, which Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is all about love. So you're supposed to be having all that love. And I was like, oh, wow. So I realized in that moment, I wasn't allowing myself to receive the love. I had my attention drawn to Renee because she was having it. And I didn't want to be jealous of her because I loved her. She was my friend, but I was envious. I was envious of what she had. But what was really happening was my soul was saying, you're envious because I'm trying to wake you up to say, this is what you're not allowing yourself to receive. So think about that. I want you to think for a moment about where maybe recently you've had a conversation with someone that you found yourself going in that negative mindset, or maybe you just found yourself in your head thinking about someone else, or how they're doing something or receiving something and you're not. You could even think of it as the way you're judging yourself, not even in comparison to someone else, but if you're judging yourself about how you should be, in essence, you're competing, because in your mind, you have this standard of how you think you're supposed to live to be able to receive love and nurturing and support. And in your mind, if you're judging yourself that you haven't met that standard, then you are competing. Interesting, huh? So again, I want you to just kind of check in with yourself and ask yourself right now, am I competing somewhere? And where am I sitting in lack? So we're going to do a meditation on this because I think it's really, really important to, as I'm asking you to look at your outer world and that competition, we're going to do this meditation to have you see, what is the mirror here? What is it showing you about yourself? And I can tell you this before we dive in. I can remember years ago sitting on the beach. I lived in Southern California. And as I was sitting there, I remember thinking about a friend of mine who seemed to have a lot of miracles show up in her life. And I felt a lot of lack, right? I felt a lot of lack. I felt that competition. But again, this was a friend that I loved. And so I sat there and I said, why? Why is this? Why is she having so many miracles and I'm not? And I heard in my ear, she's chosen to be chosen. I went, what does that mean? And then I heard it again. She's chosen to be chosen. She had chosen herself. She was choosing to love herself. She was choosing to make herself number one. And so, what I was shown to do in that moment was to visualize little Terri, the little 5-year-old inside of me, to call her up. And I saw this blue ribbon. You know how you win it when I was a kid, we'd run the little school races and you'd get a little blue ribbon. So I saw this blue ribbon with the number 1 on it. I visualized putting that ribbon on little Terri and I said, from now on, you're number 1. That was the beginning of me crossing that divide of lack, because I was choosing to be chosen. Okay, so I was choosing to see myself as worthy. Think about that. I was choosing to see myself as worthy and to love that little kid. And in doing so, that's where that sense of lack and competition started falling away. No longer did I feel that I had to compete to have a man's approval, to have the world's approval. Did I have to look at my fellow sisters as my enemy rather than my sister, than my sister of love? And so that mindset, to see the shift in it, because let me tell you, used to, every woman that felt like she had something going on for her, I competed with. I competed in school, I competed with my sister, I competed with my mother, obviously in pageants, as you guys know, as a former Miss USA, I competed there. I mean, everything was a competition for me. And so that competition makes you stay in emotional chaos, because you're always questioning, you're always doubting, you're always judging, you're always wondering, what do I need to do? Because in your mind, you're in competition. It wasn't until I really started loving that little girl inside of me, and that moment when I heard she's chosen to be chosen, or she's chosen to be chosen, choose to be chosen. So it wasn't until that moment that I recognized that I needed to choose myself. And that's where all of that competition, as I started building on it and seeing that competition as an opportunity to move out of lack and to love myself, that the lack and the need to compete started dissipating. Now I have my moments still, there'll be something that's triggered, right? But I recognize that it comes from that little kid who wanted to be seen, heard, and valued, and saw my dad with that newspaper up. That's where I got my worth. That's where I I wanted to be loved the most. So those, I know my MO. So your key, or what you want to be doing is be recognizing, where do I go into that lack? Where do I go into that competition? Be very aware of it. I mean, awareness is 95% of the game, right? Is staying aware of it and then recognizing, oh, okay, here I am in lack again. Here I am in that state of unworthiness. What do I need to do to love me? What do I need to go within to look at that little girl inside of me and say, what is this competition mirroring to you? And then you can start releasing it. What's so beautiful about this is, for me, and I know for some of you, you're doing this and you probably feeling the same way, is that I feel very little competition anymore with women. I I can look at them and I know that they're unique, just like you're unique. I know that there's something beautiful inside each of us and that we each have gifts. And it is only through seeing this competition as an opportunity to heal that we really start discovering those gifts, and that we start really feeling abundant and worthy of miracles, of love and nurturing and support. And so to be able to look at my fellow human beings and fellow women and say, wow, I celebrate you. I celebrate you. So here's an example. Do you ever find yourself going on social media, maybe Facebook or Instagram, and you start looking at someone's life? You ever do that and you're thinking, wow, wow, I wish mine was like that, or I wish I had a relationship like that, or wish my career was like that. That's lack. In its own way, it's a sense of competition. In some ways, it's kind of like you're pulling back and going, well, I can't even compete. But in your mind, it's still competition. So we want to get out of competition. This is why our world is in such a state of struggle. Everybody's in competition. So we want to get away from that. And the way to do that is to choose to be chosen and to see your outer world, where you do feel you're competing, as an opportunity to go within and heal. So let's do this. I want to take you into a meditation, and we're going to, I already asked you to think about where you have been in a state of competition, where you're looking at someone, maybe tearing them down, and maybe where you're not even thinking about someone else, but you're judging yourself. Again, that's a state of competition. So I would prefer it if you could, if you do have someone where you in your mind that you compare yourself to, that would be the way to go, because I really want you to get into this awareness of you against me. Because for us to become the we have to get out of this mindset. So if you can think of someone or something that has happened in your life in the past where there was that sense of competition and lack, I really want you to focus on that if you can, if you have something. If you don't have something, then God bless you. Good for you. I'm happy for you. Because God knows I've had lots of it. So let's do this. So I want to invite you right now to just close your eyes and take a deep breath and release. Take another deep breath and release. So I want to invite you right now to just bring in the light of abundance. We're going to bring it into the crown of our heads, letting it flood through our bodies. We're just taking a moment to get grounded. So allow this light to come into your face, into your neck, breathing into it. Now down into your jaw, or your jaw, and then into your shoulders. Let's let that light now go down your arms, and out your hands, breathing into this and releasing. Let's now bring that light down from our shoulders into our chest. Bringing it on further down into our ribs, into our hips, and down our legs and out our feet. So I want you to imagine you're releasing anything that's ready to be done with right now. Anything that you can say, oh, that's competition energy. I'm releasing this and allowing abundance in. And then allow that light to just flood all the way around you. Again, releasing anything that is in your energy field, your aura, and let that energy now drop down below your feet and send it back to the center of the earth. And just taking a moment to get grounded, breathing into this. Now, I want to invite you to imagine that little 5-year-old inside of you and just call her up on your lap, just to say, hey. She's that little girl who is the heart of who you are. Think of her as the messenger of your soul. Breathing into this. Now let's go to that space that we were just talking about where you have felt competitive. Okay. That place where you either compare yourself, you judge someone, you tear them down. I want you to imagine that person standing in front of you. And if you can't imagine it, it's okay, because we all have ways of experiencing this. You may just feel it. You may have a knowingness. You may actually see it in your mind's eye, whatever way works for you. I always talk in terms of visuals, though. So visualize this person in front of you. And now imagine what it is that they have that you don't have. And how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel angry? Does it make you feel depressed? Does it make you feel hopeless? Maybe it's something you're thinking about somebody and you want, all I wanted is I've worked really hard to have this and I feel like I can't have it. I feel like I can't achieve this. And so there's that sense of hopelessness. And now get really clear on what this person is receiving or is experiencing. Put one word to it. Is it attention? Is it love? Is it success? What is it that this person is experiencing? Now look at your inner child and ask her, what is the belief that you're holding on to that is blocking you from having this? What is the belief you're holding on to that is blocking you from having this? And if you get a picture in your mind and you're not sure what it is, you can just say, well, show me another picture. If you hear a word and you're not sure what it is, just ask yourself, go deeper. Ask that little kid, go deeper. So once you get to that belief, I want you to look at that person and say, thank you. Thank you for playing your part. Thank you for being in my life and showing me where I've limited myself. And feel the energy just dissipating, that maybe you've had resentment or whatever the energy was connected to this person. I want you to just imagine that that energy is dissipating. And now send that person into the white light of God. Just send that person, say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And now, as you recognize what you've been holding on to, this belief, I want you to imagine a giant rose, put the energy into the head of the rose like a vacuum cleaner, and then allow that vacuum cleaner to suck all this old, stuck energy out of every cell of your body. If you can even check in with your body and say, where is it really stuck? Is it stuck in my heart? Is it stuck between my shoulder blades? Is it stuck right at the base of my spine? Where is this energy stuck? Maybe it's in your mind. So I want to invite you to take that energy wherever it is and just allow it to move into this rose. And now we're going to take that rose and send it out into the universe, blowing it up like confetti, saying thank you. We're sending it back with love. Woohoo! And now, whatever it is that you were being called to compete with, that judgment, maybe it was attention, maybe it was success. I want you to call that energy, whatever it is for you that you were struggling with, that you couldn't have, and let's call it into the crown of your head. So I want you to imagine that energy from the universe is coming into the crown of your head, breathing it in. And let that energy flood all the way into your being, because we always want to fill up where we've released energy. We want to fill up. And we want to turn every cell on. Breathing into this. Imagine that you're getting so full now that it is now filling up around your outer edges of your body and all the way out to about arm's length, all the way around you, creating a big bubble of this energy. And as you sit in this space, tell your inner child, I give you permission to have this. You are the woman leader of love. You are the divine parent to this little kid. So you have the ability to really own your worth right now and say, you have permission, my permission, to have this in your life. And you can even feel yourself celebrating. Imagine that little kid in you holding hands and jumping up and going, yes, woohoo! Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to that person. Thank you to this healing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can say yes to this. Breathing into this. Do that one more time. Breathe in and feel that energy and say yes. And then you can come back into this space. Isn't that so cool? Isn't that so cool that you can look at something that you feel competitive with, recognizing that competition comes from a state of lack, and lack comes from a state of unworthiness. And no one determines our worth, right? No one determines our worth. We determine our worth. So just by doing that, you just shifted your worthiness. You just raised your worthiness quotient in so many ways. And so, what I want to invite you is to go into that awareness of when you're doing that negative mind chatter, when you're tearing someone down. If you're with friends and you find that this negative stuff is coming out, maybe they're bad mouthing someone, I want to invite you to be a woman leader of love and choose to not engage in that conversation. That's huge. Because when we get together and we start bashing and back backbiting and being, that little cattish and meow, that kind of stuff, when we engage in it, we're perpetuating more lack. So I want to invite you with your friends, maybe it's your partner, maybe it's your kids, but I want to invite you to move beyond that and to create a different conversation, really take a stand. How many times have we seen mothers with their daughters? The daughter comes home, she's feeling in lack, or maybe it's over the phone, maybe it's an adult daughter, and she's feeling in lack. And the tendency is to put whatever is happening in her life down, that it's the issue, instead of saying, hey, babe, let's see this mirror. Let's see this opportunity to heal, because whatever you're feeling right now, that's your mindset. So let's shift it. So we tend to perpetuate this. You hear those stories of, the cheerleader mom going and doing something horrible to the cheerleaders. I mean, you've heard those stories in the past, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's the extreme. But we don't want to engage in that. We have to recognize that's competition, that's lack, and that's unworthiness. And I'm not willing to sit in this vibrational energy any longer. From this day forward, I am choosing to see it as a gift, to look at myself and heal. And if I am around people who are engaging in it, then I'm either going to separate and step away from it, or preferably say, hey guys, if we're bashing this person, there's something that's hurting in each of us. Be that person who creates a new conversation with you and your friends, with you and your family. Be that person, be that woman leader of love, and you will be amazed. You will be amazed at what begins to shift. I think I've shared with you guys, my girlfriend Barb and I, we met when I was pregnant with my now 30-year-old daughter, and in Tahiti. Barb lives in Canada, and we bonded on bashing our husband's ex-wives. And this was a long time ago. And then as I started my spiritual journey, she came along with me, and the conversation changed. We were no longer willing to be, it's not that you can't vent, but it's with the consciousnness of saying, this is showing up in my life, and I want to see what it's showing me. I want to learn from it. I want to grow from it. It's a different kind of conversation. You can vent, but with the intention of growth, with the intention of healing. So I see somebody's popping up on the chat, and okay, so Daniela, very good. I love this. She said, for me, it's less competing with women, more putting men on a pedestal when I'm attracted to them. I completely get that. And that in itself is a form of competition, because when you're putting them on a pedestal, which is what I did with my dad and the men in my life, is what I'm doing is I'm suppressing myself. I'm putting them on the pedestal. And in a way, it's like if somebody comes into that space and I want their attention, I will compete with them. Now, maybe that's not what you're saying, Daniela, but that has definitely been my MO over the years. And what was so sad, I will be really transparent here. When I was Miss USA, I dated Wayne Newton, and Wayne was estranged from his wife. Wayne and we have been dating, and then we broke up, and then we kind of got back together. Well, when we got back together, his wife and daughter were traveling. I know this sounds really precarious, and they did end up divorcing, but her life had been threatened, and the daughter's life had been threatened. I don't know why, but there was a lot of stuff going on. I can remember sitting at a fashion show, because I was hosting the preliminaries of Miss Universe in St. Louis, and Wayne was there, she was there, we were all there. And I remember feeling competitive with her and wanting to win, even though I knew that they were not together, and they just, as I said, they ended up divorcing soon after. But there was that part of me, and I can remember feeling that feeling. That's awful, right? That's awful. It was like it was you against me, because I wanted his attention. I wanted to make sure he loved me. And so when the shift started happening, when I chose to be chosen, that energy shifted to where I could look at women and say, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to do anything that is going to cause pain and suffering. I don't want to be that person. I want to love you and lift you up. And what a beautiful shift. So when you're recognizing that you're putting a man on a pedestal and you're really trying to, in your own way, like, see me, I want your attention. It is our own form of competition. So just recognize that and know that if you're owning your worth and you're loving yourself, there is nothing cooler than that for a man to see an empowered woman. And if the man you're being drawn to doesn't like that, then he's not your man. Okay? You want a man who wants to see an empowered woman. And if you're in a relationship and it kind of scares the guy, sometimes that will happen. But as long as they're willing to learn and grow, then that's cool, because then you can grow together. So I want to open up to questions right now. If you have a question, I'm on my computer. If you'll see at the bottom, there is a little face, a little happy face, and it says reactions. You can click on it and it'll have a sign that says raise hand, and you can raise your hand and ask a question. So let's see if anybody has a. So Daniela, I see that you put a heart. I don't know if you meant to raise your hand or if you were just putting a heart. Let me see if there's anybody else here who wants to raise their hand. Please don't be shy. This is okay. Here's who's got the hand up. I'm not. Oh, there it is, Marie. Marie, so if you will unmute yourself, what you'll see. Okay, there you are. Where's Marie?
Hi, Terri.
Hi.
Hi, it's Mari, but that's okay. Just forget there's an E at the end.
Okay, Mari, I'm so glad you're here. What
Well, Bina invited me, and this is really beautiful. Thank you for it's so wise and really amazing. Definitely a lot to ponder there. Thank you.
Good. So how can I support you?
I'm 66, and I would love to have a partner in my life, but I've kind of put it off for a long time. I mean, I was married for 21 years, divorced a long time.
Wow.
So, I mean, everything you said I can relate to because, but I suppose my question is, I probably should have formulated it better before I came on. How do I, I'm afraid. And I'm nervous about it, but at the same time, I think I want it enough now, and I'm not sure what steps to take next.
Okay, so here's something really cool to look at. So when you say I'm afraid, what that
Yeah.
Ooh, a hawk just flew by my window. That's the messenger bird. So listen closely. Just went by my window. That was cool.
That's so cool.
That was really cool. So I want you to imagine little Mari in front of you. So can you just close your eyes, or you don't have to close your eyes, but I want you to visualize her in front of you. And I want you to ask her what scares her the most about allowing a partner in, and see what she says. And if you don't mind telling me, that would be great.
Fear of being controlled.
I had a feeling. I had a feeling that's what it was. Were you controlled in your last relationship?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a couple of things I want you to be aware of. I don't know if you're doing inner work, but
I am.
Okay, so good. So here's what's beautiful. You are no longer at the vibration that you were in your last relationship. Okay.
True.
So in that last relationship, you were holding a vibration that attracted a man to control you. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been doing some inner work. You are no longer at that same vibration. So think about that. So there's something to give you an opening right there that, oh, maybe I can bring somebody in who's loving and kind to me. Your focus, you want to be really focused on hearing, seeing, communicating with that inner child of yours, being the divine parent. She's the one who's afraid of being controlled. Okay. So if I were to guess, in your last relationship, that woman leader of love didn't really exist. It was the little wounded child inside of you. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're stepping into being a woman leader of love, going, I know that my greatest act of service is being loving and kind to myself, choosing to be chosen. And that every time I do that and I release the
I
beliefs
see.
that have been hindering me, I raise my vibration even higher. I own my worth even at a higher level.
Mm,
Okay. And so because now you're
okay.
giving
Yeah.
yourself this kind of love and you're at this high vibration, you can attract someone who matches that energy. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, it does.
it's about energy and vibration. So before it was a
Yeah.
lower vibration, now you're shifting into a higher vibration. The more you love yourself, the more you clean out your old beliefs, the subconscious mind that says, no, I can't have this, or there's something wrong with me, or this is the way life is. The more you can recognize those beliefs, if they cause you pain and suffering, they're not the truth. Okay. If you have a belief that says, I'm going to be
Okay.
controlled, it's not the truth. Okay. You're only going to attract someone who is controlling if you're holding that energy. So what I would invite you to do is take the reins and hand them over to God, the universe, whatever you believe, and just say, I'm handing these reins over and I'm releasing controls, and I'm going to get
Yeah.
real clear on what I want. Okay. So it's about loving yourself. The more you can love that little kid inside of you and hold your space in a state of worthiness and nurturing and love, then you can draw that to you. The other thing I would do is I would look at, what are the false beliefs you took on from that last marriage? Okay. Look at the false
Okay.
beliefs, write them down, bullet points, write them down. And with each one, go down and say, is this the absolute truth, or can I create something different? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you're getting this is the absolute truth, then you've got to look at the belief and say, why am I so embedded in this truth? Because if it's creating pain and suffering, again, it's not the truth. So you want to get clear, right? And just say, is this the truth? Is this not?
Right.
And then as you do that, then you can start moving that energy out and get real clear on what you want to create. Okay.
Okay.
Does that
Yeah.
help?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Can I look at your energy real fast on some
Yeah,
stuff?
absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm seeing in the back of your heart, and there's like a little plug of energy, and it goes down your spine, and it goes all the way to your. I don't know if you're familiar with chakras, but it's like at your
Yeah,
lower.
I
Okay,
am.
so this plug is here. May I have your permission to pull it out and see what's ready to be moved out? Okay.
Please.
So I want you to just give yourself permission to breathe into this, and I'm going to pull out this energy, seeing what it is. So this feels like it goes back to your childhood, where you're ready to have a relationship that's passionate. Okay. That is very alive and loving and fun. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm seeing is that there was some suppression of passion as a kid. That no, to be good, you can't do that. You have to suppress your passion. And that's where this energy is sitting here. And so what I'm seeing is that it is ready to move out, and that you really got to give yourself permission to be in a state of passion. So start looking at, where am I blocking
Wow.
passion? Okay. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
So passion can look like wearing something colorful. Okay. Passion can look like giving myself permission to be fully expressive, right? I mean, I can remember, I mean, you look
Yeah.
at my Miss USA video in the interview competition, and I walk like this. It was like the passion was suppressed. Now I'm always like this, I'm always talking like this because I feel very passionate. And so it's about
I
giving yourself
see.
permission
Oh.
to be. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I think I do. Yeah. Okay. To just
Okay.
kind of
Is it
branch
scary?
out. See.
Yeah, it's about branching out, right? So it might
Yeah.
mean, going and taking a dance class to really open up that energy. It might mean that you, I don't know, go take a sex ed class. I don't know, whatever opens up for you, whatever you feel drawn to, follow the breadcrumbs. but that in itself will start, because that's where I see is that there was this energy of needing to be good, which was tied to suppressing your passion. And what I see is that when you
Wow.
suppress, and think about this, think about the correlation. When you suppress your passion, you're being controlling. So when you attracted a man who was controlling, he was mirroring to you how you were controlling yourself.
Yeah, I see. Wow. That's crazy.
Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Okay. So
Thank you.
I'm going to finish pulling this energy out, and woohoo. And there's a little bit of guilt energy here. So let me pull this out and see what's going on here. Were you there's guilt around its sexual energy, and just know that there's guilt here around sexual energy. So if you have anything in the past that you feel guilty for, anything, it can be as a little kid exploring, it can be you had sex early, it could be you were molested, it could be a lot of those different things. um, I want to invite you to give yourself permission to love it. Okay, whatever it was, whatever it is, there's just
Okay.
that guilt. And it could just simply be about passion. Okay, but there's guilt energy here, and it's in your second chakra, which is all sexual energy, creation energy. So it just feels like there's some
Wow.
dark energy here. Okay, so I want
Okay.
to invite you to just be aware, am I guilt feeling, do I have any old things that I feel guilty about? And if you do, just recognize them and say, they're serving no purpose anymore. Okay, so it's just about being in awareness so that this can open up, because here's where we manifest from, so that you can really draw that person to you. So you really want to be able to open up that second chakra, open up this ability to manifest, and giving ourselves permission to be passionate, releasing that sexual guilt is really key. And again, it may be that you did nothing, it may just be that you have guilt about being passionate. Okay. So I want you to just understand that and kind of do some exploring with it. Does that help?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. That's really great.
You might want to come back and listen to the recording. We will be sending out a link for the
Oh,
recording.
great.
And then on Facebook, if you're just watching on Facebook, we'll be posting the replay. For those of you on Facebook, if you're wanting to be in this call, again, go to my Women Leaders of Love Worthiness Quotient Breakthrough Bundle. It's just terribritt.com/leaders, and you'll get the link sent to you next week so you can join the call. Okay, thank you so much, Mari. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lower your hand if you will. I'm going to mute you too. Okay. And let's see if anybody else is on here. Lower the hand. So Trinitius, I don't know if I'm saying that. I got to get you on here so you can tell me if I'm saying that right. She says, when I feel competitive with other women, it's because I regret all the bad decisions I made. I regret the bad behaviors of the past that keep me from being where I want to be now. What are your thoughts on this, Terri? She said, Miss Terri, it's just Terri. I believe that your behaviors in the past, if you feel like they are bad, are your opportunity to really practice self-forgiveness and embracing your humanness. Usually when we are doing things that what we consider bad, one, we have to ask ourselves, are these really bad, or are they just being human and exploring? Okay, so you have to ask yourself that. If you did something really, really, really bad, then you have to look at it and say, what was hurting inside of me that I would want to punish myself this way? What was hurting so deep down? Where was I lacking in love and nurturing that I would go and seek this? I mean, I've done things, okay? So in my first marriage with my late husband of 17 years, we were married 17 years. I had a couple of one night stands. I'm very open about it. I had been abused. I had been sexually molested. And what I learned is that a lot of times when someone's been sexually molested, they will go out and do things like this, seeking love and not allow what's really loving in. They won't let the love in. What was so beautiful about when I embraced it and started looking at it, and then told my husband, when I finally told him I had come to a space of really forgiving myself, and he mirrored it to me. He says, I'm choosing forgiveness. What was so cool about this, it was months later, we were playing a tantric sex game, and it was where you'd throw the dice and you'd answer questions and share energy. It was kind of interesting. And he threw the dice and it said, what are the three greatest gifts of this relationship? And it was that he said, when we got married, when we had our kids, and when you had your infidelities. He said, because it brought us here. So you can choose to stay in judgment over those past things, or you can choose to embrace them. You can choose to say, I was hurting. There was something going on inside of me that caused me to make those choices. And so what I would do is I would look at that child or that person, whatever age you were, and take that person into your arms and say, I love you so much. I'm so sorry you were hurting. And really go into a state of forgiveness. So when you say, it keeps me from being where I want to be now, forgiveness is one of the keys to being where you want to be now. Okay. Because when you are in that state of judgment, you are in guilt and shame. Those are the two lowest vibrations. And so you're going to attract things to you that feel like punishment. When you choose to embrace whatever happened and say, there was something really hurting inside of me, or I wouldn't have done it, and you bring compassion to it, and you look at the beliefs you were holding on to, and then you love yourself into wholeness, you really own your worth, and then that's when you move into that high vibration. She said, guilt and shame. Yes, yes, it is. So your guilt and shame, they're debilitating. I know that. But they're also an opportunity for you to go deeper. Because remember, as we're raising our worthiness, our whole goal is to move into alignment with God and to stop the judgment, to see ourselves with the eyes of God, to see ourselves with the eyes of love and compassion and forgiveness. We have to make that choice. I don't know if you've done my worthiness quotient, a digital series. I think you have, but there's a whole section
Uh,
on forgiveness.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, I found the hand. I found the
Yay!
hand. I couldn't find it the last time.
I'm
Thank
so glad
you.
you found. Okay, so tell me how you say your name.
Trinicious.
Trinicious. Thank you. I knew I was
Yes, take it
correct.
from the Holy Trinity.
Okay, I love that. So
Yes.
is this making sense to you,
Oh,
Trinicious?
absolutely. You always make sense
Oh,
to me.
yay! There are days I
Yes,
question that.
absolutely. I'm so glad I finally figured out how to get on.
Okay, cool.
Yes, ma'am.
So with this, do you understand that whatever you walked through, whatever the darkness was that you walked through, that it's part of your path, okay? And you have an opportunity to embrace it, to love it, to heal it, so that you become a messenger of love for others who have maybe chosen that same path.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
understand that, right?
Yes. Yes. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what I was saying is about the word. Did you take the worthiness quotient program?
I did, but I can't remember it. It was a while back. It's been a while
So I
back.
would go back to it
Okay.
and go back to session 4. Okay. Because
Okay.
yeah, it was 4, because that was the one where we really went deep into mistakes and forgiveness. I had a woman send me a message and she says, I have done this course so many times. She said, because I just kept bringing out layers and layers and layers of stuff. And she says, now my little girl's dancing in my living room and right. So I would invite you to go back to that
Okay.
and just do, because those meditations are so powerful to take you deeper. And so whatever's coming up for you
Mhm.
about that judgment and the past mistakes, really do the meditations
Okay.
and see where it takes you, and then let me know what happens, because I really want to hear what happens
Okay.
for you. Okay.
I
Are
will.
is there anything else you wanted to ask me on this?
No, the regret is really where I wanted to go with that.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So Tranisha, just know that regret serves no purpose.
Mm,
Okay. I'm actually hearing something right now.
okay.
It's one thing to do something and if it's bad, like you say it was bad, and there's no feeling whatsoever, then you think, okay, then there's no opportunity for growth.
Right.
So the gift, what I'm hearing right now, the gift in regret is that it is your soul calling to forgive yourself.
Mm,
That's pretty
mm.
cool, isn't it?
That's beautiful. Yes.
I like that. I have to
I
write
do
that
too.
down. Okay.
Yes. That is
So
awesome.
regret is your soul calling to forgive yourself.
Oh, my.
I got chills. I love when they get downloads like that, right?
I feel like an explosion.
um, so yeah, so just recognize that regret is your soul saying, hello, forgive
Yes.
yourself. I love you. Forgive
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome so much.
Beautiful.
So glad you found the hand.
Me too. Me too.
So now what I'm going to ask you is, I can just mute you. Thank you so much for being here, and I will lower your hand. Well, guys, let's see if there was someone else. Okay, Holly, I'll take another quick one really fast. I've told myself 3 o'clock I'm done, but I'm going to do it anyway. So unmute yourself, Holly. Oh, are you here? Where are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hey.
So I know I spoke last week, but this topic is really like kind of what led me to your worthiness quotient to begin with. So I just felt the need to, I wanted to stay silent, but I can't. Um, so, I just find myself like with a lot of, a good part of my life, although in college was my only time not, of like just always being on the outside of friends and wanting to be, I guess the whole theme, I guess, is inclusion and feeling like not included. And like, there's always like these groups of friends that, do things with their kids. And like, I have a lot of friends. It's not that I don't have friends, but it's not like that quality of like solid. And I don't, and I guess I'm just trying to figure out what it is. Like, I know young in my life, I've always found myself in threes, and that keeps repeating itself. Even now, like there's like these groups, and it's, even though I love being by myself sometimes, like there's just times I don't know if the theme is inclusion or just not being able to find that, like, I have my sister, my stepsister, they have these like groups of friends, and they do things together, and they bring their kids, and they go away together, and it's like, I don't know, I just haven't been able to find that. And then, just rejection of certain friends that I do have. I don't know if it's my expectations. It's a lot. Like, it's just, there's a lot, like I found a lot of peace with my men in my life, and I found the perfect husband through a lot of work, but now it's like this piece.
Yeah, I get it.
This is really big for me lately.
So I want you to imagine there's a wall around you, and there's a button. And I want you to imagine pushing the button and the wall going down. And because what I'm seeing is that you have a wall of safety, that there's something for you that a big group doesn't feel safe.
No, it doesn't. You're right.
Right? So, but again, Holly, that's the little girl inside of you who doesn't feel safe. So the more you build on this relationship with her of being safe and loved, then she's going to be able to put that wall down. And I don't remember, the wall thing is really cool. I can't remember what I did it for. I think it was about letting love in. One day I just realized I have this wall around me. And I thought, well, I'm going to take it down. And I literally visualized a button and said, okay, go down. And I felt this energy shift. Right. Then I started recognizing intuitively, when's the wall up? When's the wall up? So think of it as the wall's up, my heart chakra is closed, right? It's tight, everything's tight. But as soon as I surrender and push the button and the wall comes down, all of a sudden I'm open. I'm open and receptive. Okay. So I want you to go into awareness of when your wall goes up. Okay. And also be in awareness of talking to little Holly and asking her, what scares you about being in this group?
And
Okay.
even one-on-ones, like I haven't even found that like one,
Right. So
Yeah.
there's that intimacy. Okay. Another thing you can ask yourself is, what do I not want people to see? Okay. When we're building intimacy with other people, we have to let them into me see, right? Into me see. So if we're not letting people in, is there something inside of you that you don't really want them to see? Is is it that you just feel so vulnerable and you're afraid they're going to attack? These are the questions you want to ask yourself and really have the conversations with little Holly, but recognizing immediately, because a lot of times these things can be old habit, right? And so the wall being up can be old habit. And that's what hit me. I can't remember what it was for, but I remember thinking, this is a wall that's been up for a lifetime and it's a habit. I've been doing this forever. It's time to push the button and bring the wall down. And I started doing it over and over. I was, at school with my kids when they were younger, because this is when it was happening. If I recognized that the wall went up, I just pushed the button, because I had the same thing as you. I never, even though I was in the group at school, I never really felt like I belonged. And after I got molested, I pulled further and further away. And because I just didn't feel safe anymore. So recognize those things, play with the button, bring the wall down, and then look at what's making your little girl inside of you not feel safe. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I guess the other question I have, there's some times where I do feel like I do have my wall down and I'm trying to knock on a wall, or like, I tend to, there's people I like that are close friends and I want in because I like them, but their wall is up, or they
Right.
don't allow in. Are you saying that that's really my wall, or I'm choosing or is it?
There are people who can have the walls too. And so what I would do is, what I'm hearing for you is to go into gratitude for your amazing, deeply intimate friendships. I want you to just start going into gratitude and feeling as if it is so, imagining that you have this connection, and don't grasp. Because
Mm,
sometimes if people, like when people have a bond, if they feel your neediness,
mhm,
okay, they'll go, I don't want this in my life,
right.
right? So if you're feeling connected on the inside, and this is why, people say, oh, I used to do inner child work. It doesn't stop, okay? Because if there's something coming up and there's pain and suffering, that little kid is your sign of woundedness. And so you love her, become the divine parent, and it shifts. So if somebody, if they're sensing your neediness or your want, some people just go, oh, I don't want that. So by loving that little girl inside of you, and feeling connected and giving her permission and telling, and finding out what's making her feel unsafe, then you're creating a vibration that she can feel safe and receive it. Okay. So it's about, you're going to receive the people that are right for you. It may not be those women you want to be a part of. Maybe you're
Right.
being protected. See, nowadays, if I ever feel something like that now, I'm like, oh, I'm being protected.
Right.
Okay.
And
Maybe
I
I
do
do.
have a group like that from college, but even with them, I feel like left, and they all love me and I love them, but I still feel like that left out feeling with them
So
sometimes.
that left out feeling
Huh.
is, think of it this way, is the little girl inside of you is left standing over there by herself and you're over here. So the more you can embrace her and love her, the more you're going to feel connected. So now you feel as if you belong. Okay. So it's really about creating that connection. What are the beliefs that are telling me that I don't deserve this kind of connection? Right. Or that I don't, that I can't have this kind of connection. So you really, the subconscious beliefs are key here. Right. Because this is what keeps us in a state of not belonging. I'm trying to think for a second, what was mine about? Um, Mine went back all the way to my sister and my mother. I mean, that's where the belief system came in, because they had a connection and I didn't. And I had a belief that that everybody else could be nurtured, but I couldn't. So when I saw these groups, my competition would come in, my neediness, and then it was just all these dynamics that were going on. But as I started loving that little girl inside of me, that again began to dissipate. So it's almost like, again, when we, on this topic of competition today, it's almost like you're competing to belong.
Right.
Okay. There's no competing for you. You it's almost like you need to get grounded in I'm receiving my people, my peeps, and visualize turning and seeing a door and opening the door and letting it in.
Okay.
Okay. Let it in. But you need to be asking yourself, where is my resistance to letting it in?
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Something as simple as that.
Okay.
What is my resistance to letting this in, allowing this to come in? Because I truly believe that it's always whatever we're wanting is God speaking to you saying, this is what you deserve, right? You deserve to have these amazing friendships. But we have a tendency to block that abundance from showing up.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Mhm.
ask, what is my resistance?
What is my resistance to letting it in? Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. All righty. All right, guys. Well, thank you, Holly. I'm so glad you're here. And you can mute yourself, and we're going to lower your hand. So let's just take a moment. And I see some other people showed up at the end today. We're sorry you missed the whole call, but you can go back and watch the replay and get all the good messages out of it. Let me see if there's any other remarks that I missed. Victoria says the meditation. Good. I take it you liked it, Victoria. That's awesome. So let's just take a moment and close our eyes and give thanks for this healing today. And I just want to say thank you to each of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being so courageous, willing to share your hearts. This is on the internet, as you know, and people can watch it. And you guys are truly being women leaders of love, letting people see your stories, sharing your hearts. And that is so amazing. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then whatever you learned about yourself today, whatever that energy is that you were bringing in, that you were desiring and felt like you couldn't have, and you moved out the old stuff and you said yes to it, just feel that energy one last time right now and just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm walking forward in this energy. I'm walking in this sense of worthiness. I am owning my worth. I have owned my worth. I claimed my crown. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And when you're ready, you can come back into this space, and I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye, everybody.